What's going on, Ozzy? Hang on. My microphone's far away. What is up? You made me want to play Helldivers. What's going on, Lockheed? Or Locked? Getting a drink. Water. Got a couple of water drinkers in here instead of Diet Pepsi. I'm excited about today. We're doing fur, which I haven't done in a little while, but I'm excited to try it. And then we're gonna do some minor detail work that is really going to help bring everything up where I want it to be. So this is exciting. We're going to be using dry brush, not to necessarily dry brush, but to kind of do a little bit of wet blending, and I'll show you what I'm doing here in a minute. So let's get our paint cam up. Now, locked, is it pronounced locked as in like a lock, or is it pronounced something else? Lock, like am I pronouncing it correctly? Spell it phonetically for me. Locked, okay. I just didn't want to be rude. Okay. Too sleepy for New Vegas, huh? Okay, so first things first, here's our fur colors. We're gonna do more of a traditional fur, so we've got a mahogany-ish brown, a lighter brown, and an ivory. We're gonna end up mixing these two a little later, but these are gonna be our fur bases. And I'm gonna be wet blending them. And I'm using a Citadel dry brush to get all this on here first. So I'm gonna load up my dry brush, nice and full. And I'm gonna take some of it off because I don't want to overload the fur, but I want it to be thick enough to where it doesn't immediately go away. So I'm gonna use something like this. And just take a good chunk of it out so that when I go like that, it's like still there. Slap that on. Trying our best not to touch the cape. But don't be too upset if you do. We can always fix it. And same thing, don't get upset if it touches the armor. We're still in the super early stages of everything. A little more. And we definitely want to make sure to try and keep this wet if we can. We're just using water for that. We're not doing anything fancy like paint retarder or something like that. And I know that up here I'm definitely going to be getting it on other pieces of the armor. That's okay. That's going to be much easier to fix because we haven't done anything to it yet, this is why this is the perfect time to do this. So we've gotten everywhere of the fur that we want to get, and it's still a little bit wet. So taking our dry brush, while this is not dry all the way, do the same thing, load up a little bit of the lighter brown, and we are going to put it up, because the darkest part of this fur is upward, so this is like the middle area. And the lightest part is going to be sort of around the head. So you're going to have a little bit nicer of a transition between the lighter colors. Okay, and that's good enough. So let me just kind of show you. Now we're going to go all the way to the ivory. And again, like I said, this is wet blending, so don't be afraid. Load up the brush with the ivory. And we're going to go all the way up to the top. Gonna get on the face, don't worry. They'll fix that later. There we go. And now we are going to let this dry. What's going on, Renee? Is it Renee? Reneeville. We just did a little bit of wet blending fur. So we did our dark mahogany at the bottom, mid-tone, and then ivory up at the top, and now we're letting it dry. And while we're letting that dry, we can actually go and fix... Well, actually, no, we don't want to do it yet. Renee, good. All right, in the meantime, we're gonna actually make this cape two-tone, meaning the front is gonna be different than the back. I want the front to be a higher contrast, so I'm gonna make the front probably like a cream, something like that, so that it has a bit of a Reneeville? Oh, is it the second one? Reneeville, okay. Actually, before we do that, need a little bit of fixing here. There's some fur. Hit right there. A bit right there. Okay. And a little bit here. Make sure it goes all the way down and there's not like black left over towards the middle of the face. And I know we got it on the face, it's okay. Because we haven't done anything to the armor yet, so we'll just paint right back over that. The Wolfman Guardian, it's pretty close. It's from a game called Kingdom Death, apparently. Okay, so actually, I want to try something. This doesn't mean it's going to be the ultimate end of it, but I do want to try. I saw that there's kind of a purple hue that I want to try on this. So a moody, it's called Moody Mauve. This, and I want to put it on the tufted areas of this just to see kind of what that might look like, but I'm going to texture it first by doing more stippling with the dry brush. So I'm going to take a little bit of matte white and I'm going to give it a little bit of texture on those tufts so that it looks like it's a little worn before I put the mauve on there that's going to kind of stain the whole thing. Took most of the white off, and I'm just going to lightly touch closer. Just gonna lightly touch some areas of this just to give it some like worn texture look, like that. But there's obvious light areas, like this part has been hit more by the sun and whatnot. That. A little bit over here. Not too much, but just a little bit there. Just to give it some, see now it's a little more 3D. And then when we put the thinned down Moody Mauve on it, it's going to tint the whole thing purplish. And that'll be a nice little contrast to the blue of the rest of the cloth area. Thin that down with some water. See how it looks. The purple will also seep into the little tufted stuff. Exactly, yes. And I use either like a paper towel or I use something like this. Just a little piece of palette, or this. I 3D printed this. So this is just this is just called a dry brush palette, but it's just different textured surface areas that I use to wipe the brush down rather than a towel, because the towel sometimes over dries it, which I don't necessarily want. There we go. So the purple is going into the recesses, but also staining the blue just a little bit. We may do like a second coat on there. But let's let that dry all the way. In the meantime, let's repair the armor a little. Well, actually, let that dry yet, the fur? Not quite. All good, that's exactly what this is for. It's literally exactly what we do here. So, questions are appreciated. Questions and requests for elaboration are appreciated. Let's do, what can we do in the meantime? We can take a look at the dark blue cloth here. Thinking about, you always have to think about order of operations, because if I do, no, actually the next thing would be changing the color of the interior of this cape here, because I don't want it to all be the same color. I want it to have a little bit of a transition. Or do I? Maybe I'll think about that. I do like the texture of how it looks right now. Should I change the interior of the cape, or should I leave it the same as the back? Because what I was thinking was maybe a cream color on the inside. Haven't decided yet. Little orange on the edges. Something like a little bit of Raging Rouge, something like that. Or more orange. Something like it's called Legendary Reds, but it's a warm red. Or full-blown, like a glowing Inferno. Because we can do the edges just a little bit. Because it's already got 3 colors in here. So there's a dark reddish purple, there's a mid-tone red, and then the edge is actually a pink. That's dry. Okay, 1 second. Now we're gonna address the fur again. First, we need to apply a little bit more of the ivory up here, because see, I don't know if you can see, but there's some black that's seeping through. Actually, no, that's pretty good. What we do need to do, though, is we need to help the transition a little bit here in the middle area. We're going to add a little bit more of that mid-tone. It's a little too stark. There we go. That helped a little bit. And we'll do the same thing with the ivory a little bit up top. It's going to be even lighter. Coming back. There we go, that's a little better transition. And then actually for the bottom, we want to make it even darker a little bit. We're going to add just a drop of matte black to the mahogany brown that we had at the beginning. Just a teeny tiny bit. Just for the bottom section, just the tips of the bottom. There we go, now let that dry all the way. In the meantime, let's try out that legendary red, see how that looks. And just like before, we're using a makeup sponge to apply. Give it a little more fire. I think we like it. By the way, we always take suggestions. Don't ever hold back and be like, I would love to see this, because that's exactly what this channel is for. Never feel like you can't have input. I'm not a like, how dare you tell me what to put on my model? No. That's the opposite of what this is. That doesn't mean I'm going to do everything, but I'm open to everything. There we go, now it's getting nice and fiery. Good suggestion. Yep. Orange is typically a great accent There we go. I like it. Go a little bit even darker on the bottom here. There we go. I like that. Okay, let's go back. Let's see, like that, a little bit. There we go. Let that dry all the way before we continue with that. Okay. How did the purple come out on the bottom? I think we need another coat of the purple. Remember, it's watered down quite a bit. We want to keep it watered down. We're not turning it purple, we're tinting it purple. Okay. I think it's safe to repair the armor a little bit here, and by that I mean repaint it the original color before we start working on it. Yes, exactly, and that's what we're gonna do. We just need it to dry all the way. No problem. But you know what we're doing. You see the vision. Okay. Good, and then the bottom cloak or the interior cloak is getting a nice hint. Just a hint of purple in there. Very good. Okay. Armor is drying. Oh. And the armor, by the way, is going to be a non-metallic metal scheme. Because I'm addicted to doing it that way at this point. Can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Exactly. It's like once you learn how to do it effectively, you're like, oh, I want to use it for everything, except when you're painting an army. Okay. Next thing, I kind of want to address the chainmail. So that is going to be a silvery chainmail, which, as we've already established, silver is blue. And we have the base coat of the blue on there, so we need to pick our up to silver colors. The next one is a runic cobalt. And then it's going to be frost blue with a little white in it. Get it to where it needs to be. What's going on, Neo? Get our runic cobalt ready. We're going to kind of use the same tech that we did for the fur, as in like a stipple with the dry brush. See how that works out. So, like I said, you load it up a little bit. I'm going to take some of it off. In areas that we... There we go. Be light. Don't get it all over. You want it to be sort of suggestion of light. There we go, see? That's it. Don't do any more of that. Now then when we come in with the the highest peak, it's going to turn it into a metallic. But you see how just those little taps were enough? Sorry, I'm scratching my eye. I'm blinding myself. Okay, so now this is the frost blue mixed with a little white. Same thing. Going to load it up, take most of it off. Same thing. We can go peak white. Just a little bit. Teeny tiny bit. Ah! Hermit fell over. To give it glints. Really just kind of edge highlighting it. You see how that little edge highlight here, even though it's in a darker area, changes the kind of character of the rest of it? That's what we're talking about. Turtle. We also know what good music is. Okay. We got this area. But I might be ruining you guys' evening. But I heard something that made me devastated yesterday about this music specifically. So it's 2025 right now. What year did this song come out? 20 years ago? Showing somebody that grew up with 2020's music, this song is like your parents showing you 80s music. No, you don't understand. 80s music with words. Devastating. Devastating. Yeah, literally, this is the equivalent of you showing your parent when your parents showed you music from 1981. That's the same. Classic rock. A little hard to reach this area, so we're gonna use the brush to kind of get it. Lighten it up a little bit. That is also part of the chainmail there. What do you think of the chainmail? Do you like this version of silver? A bluish hue? At least for the chainmail portions. I'm adding that watered down mahogany brown top here just to tint the interiors. It's maddening. We have to do that in layers. You can't just do it all at once. Okay. Now that's done. We need a deep gray blue. Start working on the rest of the cloth of the armor. And this is going to be textured cloth. So a little bit of hatching. So this is a lighter hue, deep green blue, greenish blue. This is abyssal blue. The original color of the cloth over the armor right now is the darkness. So it's a little super dark. I'm just gonna attempt a little bit of lightening up here. I'm gonna do that with hatching, which is just like and it's pretty bold right now, but we're gonna blend it. I read the band of, and my brain said the hawk, but then you said the band of the darkness. No, I have not. So I'm hitting all of the raised ridges with the lighter color. Also, by the way, now that the purple has completely dried here, you can see that nice light area. We're actually going to take it, excuse me, we're going to take it a little further by actually reapplying the original the original lighter color. Back onto just a teeny tiny bit. I'm gonna go just to make it look a little more worn. There we go. That's enough. fix one small thing. This little glint is too bright. What did you say? The more layers, the darker. But I do want to put. I'm going to put more layers on, but I'm actually, and then I'm going to reapply the ivory to like the tips of it. But you got to let it dry all the way, or else it just kind of pools and doesn't do anything. It becomes too translucent. Now we're gonna put another glaze on there. Oh, asking if you add too many layers, does it cover the... I mean, it depends on what you're working. Yeah, and you would. It does sometimes depend on what color you're using, but yeah, generally yes, it'll cover it, and you don't necessarily want that. Okay, now let's see if I can show you. So this is the cloth here. You can see the texture I put on it. So you can go like little hatches, which is like just like lines like that. And the way that you're gonna blend it is actually taking the original color and doing it in between. So the original color is the darkness. And I'm gonna mix the mid-tone and the mid-tone and the original color a little bit. Create something a little in between. And I'm just going to try my best to hatch in between the transition to make it a little bit more cohesive. This. There we go, so let that dry all the way. That should help with the transition a little bit once it dries. And then when we do the final highlight, the highest one on the just like the tops of the ridges, that'll pop out even more. Let's think about... But he's coming along nicely so far. Just do a quick spin, just progress report. Front, this way. He's looking pretty good so far. Thinking about something we could do to get him a little bit. No, let's keep it going. Let's keep doing what we're doing. I don't want to change anything up quite yet. Okay, so that's that. And let's use a top color for the cloth. That's going to be this field wall blue. It's like a higher hue, deep blue green. I'm just going to do a little bit of peak highlighting on the cloth just to see where we're at. And you don't need to be committed. Like, you're not married to this. I'm just blocking out where I think things should be. You can always fix it. There we go. So now it becomes 3D, like it gives it a lot more texture. Or depth, I should say. Something else to remember about cloth, it's not perfect. So little gaps in the texture add to the realism. right. I think this is actually where we're going to end it for today. We're at about an hour. For anybody who's new, if anybody's in chat and hasn't said anything, I typically paint Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for about an hour each day. If I have time, I'll add a Friday stream. Typically that's gaming, sometimes it's painting. But here's where we're ending it for today. We did a little bit more to the cape. We did the fur. We did some of the cloth, and we did the chainmail. Still lots to go. I think he's turning out great. Name and a title? I don't know. We need to figure that out. Maybe I'll let you guys figure that out because I don't know. And I'll have a hard time deciding. Maybe I'll put a poll up. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Next stream, it won't be tomorrow. I'm not gonna be in town tomorrow, so next stream will be Tuesday, next week. But thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I'll post a picture of this guy's progress on X. It's still Golem 40K. I think it's turning out great. All right. See you guys next time.